Shivnarayan Prash. It is a
Yes.
great honor to talk to you. We have so many questions in this Muggle world, and one of
Yes.
them is to understand whether the standard practice that masses have is to run after money and fame. So, what is your
Yes.
take on it, and what is the right way to approach this? So, if you could kindly tell us more about this.
Yes, like you said, in the prevalent consciousness, as a whole, people are after these two things a whole lot, and these two things are put on a pedestal. Let's
Yes.
say they're put on a pedestal. So now, the funny thing about this is that what people don't realize actually is that when you have either of these two things,
Right.
there is actually much more responsibility on you.
True.
These two things don't give you anything else but responsibility.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, like, if you have money,
Right.
okay, now you will have to figure out what is the right way to spend it.
Yes.
Because if you don't,
Right.
then there'll be negative karmic consequences for that.
True. True. Yes.
And money you've gotten in this life from some points from your previous actions. Okay. You've done the previous work. Through the use of that points, you've gotten some resources or something which is called money right now in this lifetime.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you don't utilize that properly, if you don't make the right use of it, I mean, obviously you're going to lose the points anyways because you have used up your points to get that. Now you will create yourself a big negative karmic pattern for your future lives.
Okay.
By not correctly using it. And to how to correctly use money, that will be very tough.
Right.
What do you actually do? What is the correct use? That requires a lot of wisdom, a lot of intelligence, a lot of knowing,
And nobody teaches you this in school or college.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's a complicated issue. Sometimes you might think like even just doing some charity might be a good thing.
Right.
But charity you might be doing might be not in a way which is as per the multiversal will or multiversal laws.
Yes.
Okay. So it becomes very complicated, the whole thing. So
I think on charity also you've said that it gives ego when you do charity.
Ego, yeah. So it is a very complicated issue. So like, I mean, like being such a more smart, they used to just put it, if they had wealth or things like that in the past, they used to put it into the hands of the guru or the higher divine and just say like, you tell me what to do. But nowadays people don't do that. They take the responsibility on themselves and they take those decisions themselves as to what to do. And that leads to a whole lot of negative karmic things. So it's a burden.
Yes.
Actually. If you look at it from that point of view, it is a burden unless you're ready for it, taking that responsibility. Like people don't think responsibility comes with. And then comes the second thing called fame.
Yes.
Which is even more dangerous. Because now the responsibility is even more.
Yes.
Right. Now, what is fame? Like, okay, that means people's attention is on you.
Yes.
And many people whose attention is on you. Now that puts you in a very delicate position because now you have to tell them something which is better for them or evolves them or something. Otherwise, you're getting that attention for yourself. Anything else you do will lead to your negative karmic consequences for yourself and will affect your future negatively. Okay. And the more the number of people, more famous you are, the more number of people know you, the more the responsibility increases. So if you don't do the right thing, you can only imagine the amount of negative karma you'll create for yourself.
Right.
Through that. I mean, those will be mind-boggling figures of negative karma. Like it is not, people cannot even assess it in any. So, I mean, money is dangerous, but fame is much, 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 much more dangerous. Okay. Because the way this matrix functions, if you don't utilize that thing properly, immediately negative karmic consequences come.
Right.
Which people don't realize that. They don't understand the sense of huge responsibility which comes with that. And people, the way they even get to fame, might be doing actions which are not in any way, which are showing devolving paths to the masses. And so they already accrued all this negative karma. And once they are so-called famous and they are so-called known by everybody, then what are they telling people? How are they utilizing that? Are they teaching them something better for themselves?
Right.
You know, and fruitful, or evolving, operative, or not? You know? So finally, if you see both these things, actually create a whole lot of responsibility.
True.
People think they are great things.
Right.
The only thing that because they don't consider this fact.
Yes.
They don't think that this will bring any responsibility. If people knew about that, very few people would actually want money and fame, because what it brings along with it.
Right.
And because the negative karmas which will come out of this thing, it will go on for 50, 100 lives, future lives.
Right. Right.
It will take you to work out sometimes even more.
Right. Yes.
So the karma is very strong, in this life.
True.
It's like a big test, actually. When because Saturn is the graha which allows for these two things to happen for you in this life. And it allows you, and then it's a big test. Okay, now your chances of falling and that thing. So people think it's a lucky thing to have that.
Right.
But in another aspect, it can be called a very unlucky thing. Because the amount of pressure on you is huge. If you don't know what you're doing exactly.
True.
So all these things have come because of people not understanding the law of action and consequence.
Yes.
You are in a position in anything, then you have to have responsibility. With every position comes responsibility.
True.
Then money and fame are very big positions.
Yes.
In today's world. Okay.
Right.
So the responsibility will come with it.
True.
Okay. Like with the money thing, funny thing is that even if you don't spend the money, and if you die just with that in that thing, there's negative karma for that even.
Yes. Right.
For not putting it back into the system.
Right.
So it's a very dicey situation to have any of these quantities. And beings should be very sorted first before they even go into this kind of things. It's just appealing from a distance. And that's why a lot of people who have in this world have gotten money and who have gotten famous, a lot of times they say like it's not really the thing what they thought it was. Or,
yes.
Like fortune and fame is not exactly what it's made it out to be. It's something else. And that's what it is. There's this sense of responsibility, which comes with it.
True. So, a lot of actors have spoken about this, that, this is not something you would want to wish upon anyone because it comes with burden.
And burden because it's actual karmic burden.
Yes.
It's a huge actual karmic burden.
Right.
So this is what my point is about it. Like people should think about in terms of consequences and responsibility.
Yes.
Because first your responsibility is just for yourself, right? Usually, like to evolve yourself and work on yourself.
Right.
But when you get these two quantities, then you are responsible for all those. If you're famous, then all those who listen to you, I think you're responsible for telling them the right thing.
Yes.
So all of the responsibility increases.
True.
Not just to yourself, but to all the people. Like it's not like whether they'll follow you or not, or they do as per you. That's not your business. Okay.
Right.
Multiverse doesn't say that you have to make them do the right thing, but you have to, from your side, point them towards the right thing.
Yes.
Whether they do it or not, that's their own free will.
Right.
So you're basically putting yourself in that position.
Yes.
And with money, you're putting yourself in the position of making sure that money gets utilized properly, resources get utilized properly in this world, which requires a whole lot of knowledge.
Yes.
What is proper use of resources?
What is proper?
Any kind of resources.
Right. We did a talk once earlier also when you had spoken about how the common man is in a better position to work on their evolution as compared to somebody who has a lot of money or who's very famous.
Yes. Because of the pressure.
Because of the pressure, yes.
Because of the pressure of the position they find themselves in.
Yes.
Because they have not done that work on themselves. So they don't have the knowledge or the sense of discrimination. And they already got into that position. And then it becomes very taxing and time consuming for that being. Like common man will not be that busy.
Yes.
So they have time.
Yes.
First.
They have more time.
And second, they don't have this pressure and burden or expectation or any of these things.
Yes.
Which people in those positions have.
Right.
So they're more free to do it. Okay. And I'm not saying that those people can't do the right thing. They can do the right thing.
Right.
But for them, it will be tougher to turn the tide.
Yes.
For them, and it will be for them, they have to basically put all of their things at the service of higher and divine.
Right.
Which to them looks like an extreme step.
True.
So that is the only way out.
Yes.
For them.
Right.
That conundrum they have put themselves in.
True.
Yeah. But that is the actual reality of this situation. So,
and I also feel with fame, it's almost like, why would you want other mortals who may be even, at a lower evolutionary level to recognize you, give you that importance? It's not like a higher being is stamping that, oh, you're a great person. So what's the point of all that fame?
Yeah, it is. There is no point to it exactly in that kind of thing. The only thing is, if attention comes on a being, it should be for some purpose.
Yes.
Like attention is traveling. Like it should be a purpose, and that purpose should always be evolving for all involved. Right. That should be the ideal cases. It should be evolving. When attention starts moving around without the word evolving attached to it, or without that term or without that intent attached to it, then we have all these problems which we see in the world today as a whole. The celebrity cult, they're being celebrity for nothing. They're not evolving other beings. They're not anyway aiding or telling them the right thing, but they're celebrities.
Yes.
So celebrated for nothing.
Nothing.
Yes. So which finally somebody has to pay the bill somewhere. So bills get created in this world, and those bills are huge. For fame, it's even more huger than money. And then when you're dying, and then you get this bill, and you are like, when you after your death stage, and this bill comes to you, you are like, what did I do? Like, why this bill? Like, but that's what you did exactly. You went into a position, you got attention, and then you didn't do anything with that attention. In fact, you actually guided people on a negative path.
Yes.
So it's a very dangerous situation. The danger in it. Yeah, it's immense for the being who is in that position. It's a highly problematic, dangerous situation, actually. Both those things. It's more than a poison chalice. Yeah, if people knew about it like that, then you would have so many people so crazy about getting those two things. If the reality of that situation was, it's good, like I'm speaking about it, like that's what it is. So at least people can come to know that's what it is, so on this plane of existence, because in the end you're a prisoner here, right? Like in this. And as a prisoner, you can get a better situation in the prison. And I think another prisoners even look up to you. For what?
For what? Exactly.
Until breaking out of the prison, there's no point. The prisoners looking up to you, or you having more of anything in the prison. It's not logical from a very highest point of view. There's no logic in it. Yeah. But even from a simple logic of karmic consequences, which people understand, there is karma and there is negative and positive karma, and there is actions and consequences. There's no logic to it even from that point of view. Yes, you were saying something?
I was just saying that you're so right that money and fame have become like the single most purpose of human beings instead of evolution, which should be the single most purpose of their existence. And and definitely money for sure puts you into this loop of taxes and insurances, and it's like an endless loop you get yourself into. It's by getting one thing, you have to think of so many other things, and it's like a web.
So, yes, because in which people say there are so many hangers on. Like if anybody gets money, then there are 1,000 people who want money from that person.
Yes.
right?
And the system has made it such that the processes and the things that you have to do to safeguard that money is
Yeah,
are
it's
plenty.
tremendous in itself. Yeah,
Tremendous
it's
in
yeah,
itself.
like it will take up all of your time and
It will, yes,
everything.
absolutely.
There are a lot of things which happen because of that,
Right.
but people don't realize any of that. It is childish and infantile wanting without looking into consequences or actually clearly looking into what all of that means.
Yes.
Okay. And in this world also, all these things have been made because people are at an infantile state
Yes. Yes.
where they don't consider anything.
Right.
So that word consider is very important. They don't consider anything properly. Look
Right.
into the detail of it.
True.
Look into what it actually
Right.
entails and what that means and what would be the thing from that. I don't call it going deep. I just call it considering it properly.
Right. Yes. It's not even deep. It's pretty much close to the
Yeah.
surface.
Close to the surface, but just considering it properly.
Considering properly, yes. Right.
Yeah. So that word consideration is very important, and people don't consider things, and
Yes.
and it's whimsical. It's not logical.
Hmm.
So none of that is, and it's logical to go for evolution. That's logical.
Right. Right.
These two things, they are whimsical.
True.
It's like I'm going to want it because others have it.
Yes.
And that's what it's shown. Like, okay, the lifestyles are rich and famous, or this person is rich and this, so they can buy this or that or whatever.
Right.
You know,
Right.
So people just want to experience
True.
that like sense of power.
Yes. Yes.
But it's not actually power because you're still a prisoner at the end of it. You don't
Right.
really have any power if you are
Yes.
still a prisoner. Like,
Right.
like if you break out of the matrix, that's some power.
Yes.
It's actual power, then you've broken free from something.
Right.
That's actual real power. But this fake sense of power, which beings with money who can throw it around and that thing which they get, which only the ego feels satisfied for a little bit. But the karmic consequences are huge.
The point you made about Saturn is so valid, that it's Saturn who gives you money and fame, but that it's a trap, it's a test by Saturn, and that's something which we need to understand.
Saturn doesn't give it to you. Saturn just signs a notice that, okay, you are allowed. It opens the gate for you.
Open them. Okay.
When then other grahas can give it to you.
Give it to you too, right? Okay.
But the signature is required of Saturn.
Right. Right. Okay.
So, but if that signature is given, you might think it's a very lucky thing.
Right.
But it's not so lucky.
Right.
A lot of people in this lifetime will not get this signature.
Right.
Okay. And they will think that they're so unlucky.
Yes.
Because they did not get this particular signature. Okay.
Right.
Whether gate wasn't open for them. That's what is called an unlucky person in this world, isn't it?
Right. But they're actually genuinely fortunate.
Yes, but that's what is called an unlucky person in this world, isn't it?
True. True.
Who doesn't get the signature?
Yes.
The gates don't open for them.
Right.
So, but that is a lucky thing, actually.
Right.
But you have to know, you have to have the eyes to understand. Why that.
Right.
What that is. The thing is that all these things are only for evolution in the end. Like, if you're not evolving, you're not breaking out of the matrix, you're continuously stuck in the cycle of birth and death, then there's no point. Because then you'll have one rich life and then you have another 100 poor lives.
Right. Right.
There's no point.
There's no point, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, obviously nobody is talking about those things from that point of view.
Right.
Okay. So there's no discussion on TV or any places which is from this point of view.
Right.
About these things.
So what would you recommend for people who are after money, that they should just try to have enough for their existence? Is that the way they should approach money? That they should...
I think is required for your basic human subsistence.
Right.
Is there, like resources are there on earth.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Actually, they're just not being distributed properly.
Right.
The distribution is very crazy right now.
Right.
So for a normal person right now, they should go for whatever is required for them to take care of their body and self properly. That's it.
Right.
And that is good enough. Point is that all of that will come for you anyways.
Right.
If you are actually dedicated to evolving yourself.
Right. So money will automatically come.
Yeah. Whatever the resources.
Right. Resources will come. Yes.
For that, like if you really actually focus on evolving yourself.
Yes.
Then multiverse also works for you.
Yes.
Like you're doing the right thing. You're trying to do the right thing. Your intent is the right thing. So obviously,
Yes.
There is the force
Yes.
supports you. But you have to be really, actually, you have to have the real intent.
Yes.
And you have to be really doing it. Not just like a joke or not just, you have to be serious about it. Like, when you're serious and authentic and hardworking about that, rest will fall into place.
Yes. Yes, we did speak about this once, that the reward system is inbuilt in the multiverse. That if you do the right thing, the reward system is inbuilt and automatically the resources will come to you.
Yeah, and whatever is required for your journey or whatever is required for your that thing, because that will happen. But you have to really mean it, and you can't be like insincere in any way about the whole thing. If the sincerity is there, rest all will follow in that way. As per, but all these people, when you talk about money and fame, is all about surplus stuff, not required stuff.
Not required, yes. The fringes.
It's power trips and ego trips, and it's about that thing. It's nothing to do with to do with any practicality on ground level on earth.
Yeah. I just feel that this whole COVID situation has been a great leveler in terms of, things that the rich could do. Even they have, even all the money that they have, they couldn't travel, they couldn't go do shopping, they couldn't do anything. So it's been a great leveler.
I mean, yes, because like even a natural disaster, if it comes, it will not come and see this is a rich person or that person or what. I mean, it's like your bank account will not save you from a natural disaster, right? Or your fame will not save you from that either.
Exactly. Right.
Okay. So there are forces beyond these things. Right now, it has been made such that there's nothing bigger than this, and this is the be all and end all of everything, and there's no bigger power, which is not so. Yeah, people are still that thing to higher and divine and natural forces, and they still come under something. It's just giving people a false sense of you don't come under anything if you're rich and famous. You're somehow above it all.
Above all this, yes.
Yeah, which you are not. And those people who are in that position, they understand that.
Yes.
They're not. But it's just not transmitted to the people who are on down, who are looking up to those people, and it's not communicated to them. So that's where the problem.
Right. But it's sad that very few rich and famous people actually come and speak out about the illusion that this whole lifestyle is all about.
Yes.
Which it is.
Yeah, which it is. And because they want to keep the illusion for the masses.
Yes.
And which is again more negative.
Right. And right in itself. Yes.
Yeah. If they are being honest about it and that thing, and honestly, openly say that, they relieve some of their bad karmas.
Yes. Yes. Right.
Again, that is up to them whether they actually what they want for themselves.
Right.
It'll be in their best interest to do this.
Yes.
But if they don't, I mean, it's their choice and free will and decision, and accordingly they will get the future existence based on that choice. So that's all people have. It's all consideration. Whatever I'm saying, people should have to
consideration.
Just have to consider this.
Yes.
And that's all. And make decisions accordingly. So
consider the consequences of their actions before jumping into the action.
Or consideration of getting into any position on this plane.
Right.
Whether it's money, fame, or government, or any kind of position on this plane.
Right.
What that entails. It entails only one word: responsibility.
Responsibility.
Nothing else.
And that itself is a difficult word to understand. Responsibility of what? That word itself needs to be understood properly.
Yeah, which people understand the responsibility as of their family or different things, and even 3-4 people. If a person runs a small company, they know they're responsible for all the workers who work for them. So, I mean, people understand the word responsibility in that way, and they know the bigger you are in that thing, the more the responsibility.
Yes. Yes.
So, and if they're ready to bear that responsibility, and if they are actually very, very clear that what the right thing to do is in anything, then only you can even go for these things.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying is not easy thing for anybody to understand what is the right way to do these things and how to properly utilize money and fame.
Right.
It is a very tough thing to do. And you have to be really knowledgeable about everything. in the matrix to do that. That kind of knowledge does not exist in common people about anything, or people who have money or even fame.
Yes.
So the situation is very bad for everybody who is actually going down that path.
Right. Right.
And as a result of previous karmas or points, they are actually getting that in this life. So, but that is always not the best thing, but that's how the matrix functions.
Right. Right. So that's a great point, that for people, they need to consider, working to get money and fame for themselves. And that word consideration is a very important terminology here, which everyone must give it some thought,
And how the matrix functions. I've just told how the matrix functions.
Yes. Right.
Okay, that's all. Like you can have those things based on your positive points from the plus points from the. It's just like having a balance from past lives, and you can utilize it in this life.
Yes.
But then what next?
Right.
And you utilize it, and on top of that, you accrue so many more negative karmas as a result of being in that situation. That's not a good thing.
Right. Right. Right.
Of any kind. So. Yes.
Okay, I think this is a good message to everybody.